hello to all of you. I'm Dr. Aisha. In this final section, I will explain about the foundation of the ethics from four main religions in the world. That are Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, and Buddhism. Islam is derived from the Arabic word salama, which means peace, purity, submission, and obedience. In the religious sense, Islam means submission to the will of God and obedience of His law. Therefore, Muslims are believed to have moral responsibility to submit to Allah's order and strictly follow Islamic principles. The 5 pillars of Islam forms the foundations of Muslim life. The first one is the testimony of faith, where its foundation basically believe on the concept of Tawheed, that is the declaration that God is only one and Prophet Muhammad is the final messenger of God. The second pillar of Islam is the establishment of the daily prayers, where it is compulsory for the followers to pray 5 times a day as a ritual of worship to God. The third one is zakat, or the compulsory almsgiving to the needy. The fourth is fasting in the month of Ramadan, and the fifth pillar is the pilgrimage to Mecca for those who are financially and physically capable to do so. In addition to the 5 main pillars of the Islam, Muslims also need to internalize the 6 pillars of Iman or faith in order to achieve taqwa or righteousness. The first pillar of Iman or faith is believing God, that is Allah. The second pillar is to believe in the angels. The third pillar is to believe in the books of Revelation, which means the Quran, the Bible, the Torah, and the Psalm. The fourth pillar is to believe in His messenger, which includes Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Isa, which means Jesus, Ibrahim, that is Abraham, and Musa, which means Moses, and many more. The fifth pillar is to believe in the day of judgment, and the last pillar of Iman of faith is to believe in the destiny that has been set by God, where all things, which means all seemingly good or seemingly bad, according to our own eyes or rationality or perspective, we might think it is like that. However, whatever that has been set by God for us are actually good and perfect according to God's will. The primary sources of this religion is the Quran, that is the word of God, and the Hadith, that is the words, actions, or habits of Prophet Muhammad SAW, and Muslims' ethical decisions mainly based on these 2 main sources. Islam is viewed as a way of life since it comprehensively covers the daily routine Muslim activities, including how to worship God, the etiquettes and manners in the dinner table, in the bathroom, what to do before you sleep, how to dress up, for example, how to wear socks or shoes. Should you start with the right side or left side? What kind of interactions that is acceptable or forbidden? What kind of food we should eat and shouldn't, and how to deal with people in our life, and many more. The Christian ethics focuses on the special traits such as love, grace, mercy, and forgiveness. According to the Christian ethics, the moral principle that governs how you live are based on God's words as found in the Bible. Jesus taught that there are 2 great commandments that should be at the center of all ethical decisions. This has been described in detail in the Bible itself. One of the teachers of the law came and heard them debating. Noticing that Jesus had given them a good answer, he asked him, of all of the commandments, which is the most important? The most important one, Jesus answered, this is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord, your God, with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this, love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than this. This is according to Mark chapter 12, verse 28 to 31. According to Jesus, the 2 most important commandments are to love God and to love your neighbor. Therefore, Christian morality and ethical decisions are based on love that has its source in God according to the Bible. Buddhism comes from the word Buddhi, which means to awaken. The foundation of Buddhism is the PANCASILA, which means no killing, stealing, lying, sexual misconduct, or intoxicants. The initial precept is non-injury and non-violence to all living creatures, be it human or non-human. To become a Buddhist, a person should abstain from indulging in immoral actions. The basic concept of Buddhism can be summed up by 4 noble truths and the noble eightfold paths. First noble truth is life is suffering. Life includes pain, getting old, disease, and ultimately death. Humans also endure psychological suffering in something like loneliness, frustration, fear, embarrassment, disappointment, and anger. The second noble truth is suffering is caused by cravings and aversion. One will suffer if he or she expects that other people to conform to his or her expectation. Instead of constantly struggling to get what we want, we should try to modify our wants. The third noble truth is that suffering can be overcome and happiness can be attained by giving up useless cravings and learn to live each day at a time, not dwelling in the past or the imagined future. Then we can become happy and free and will be able to have more time and energy to help others. This is what the Buddhists call as nirvana. The fourth noble truth is called a noble eightfold path. There are paths which leads to the end of the sufferings. They are right views or preliminary understanding, right aims or motives, right speech, right acts, right livelihoods, right efforts, right concentration of mind development, right samadhi, which leads to full enlightenment. The basic philosophy of Hinduism is that God is omnipresent and omnipotent, which means God appears in everything, living and non-living. This is the reason why Hindus seems to worship almost everything. Hindus basically believes in many gods. Hinduism is related to reincarnation, which means someone might end up in someone else's shoes in his or her next incarnation. The doctrine of reincarnation, which sees life as a repeating cycle of birth, death and rebirth, is basic to Hindu thinking. The Vedas are the most ancient religious texts which define truth for Hindus. Hindus believe that the texts were received by the scholars direct from God and passed on to the next generation by the word of mouth. The Vedas are made up of 4 compositions, and each Veda in turn has 4 parts which are arranged chronologically. The Samhitas are the most ancient part of the Vedas, consisting of hymns, that is the song or chants to praise to God. The Brahmanas are rituals and prayers to guide the priests to their duties. The Aryakas concerns worship and meditations. The Upanishads consist of the mystical and philosophical teachings of Hinduism. Some of the main doctrine of Hinduism includes speak the truth pleasantly and follow righteousness in life. Secondly, non-violence is the greatest righteousness, no violence in thought, words, and speech. The third one is pray for the welfare of all people and beings of the world. All religions that we discussed before teach on how the followers should do good in their life and their daily interactions. We can see some of the teachings are quite similar between one religion and another, and some might contradict to one another as well. Nevertheless, there is one golden rule that is applicable to all religions that we already discussed before. That is, treat others as you would want others to treat you. This principle has been taught in Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Christianity. From Islamic perspective, no one of you is a believer until he desires for his brother that which he desires for himself. Based on Hinduism, this is the sum of duty. Do not unto others what you would not have them do unto you. According to Christianity, all things whatsoever you would that men should do to you, do you so to them, for this is the law and the prophets. According to Buddhism, hurt not others in ways that you yourself would find hurtful. Alright guys, this is the end of chapter 1. I will see you inshallah again in chapter 2, that is on moral reasoning in business environment. Have a nice day to all of you. Bye bye.